Hello, everybody, and welcome to Arcana Novum 2.1.0. I have some exciting stuff to show you today. First of which is a new tome recipe. So previously, when crafting the arcane tome, you would just use your little 2x2 GUI here, and you would use an enchanting table and an Eye of Ender. However, now you have to place the enchanting table down in the world, and then you throw a book and Eye of Ender onto it. And these little particle effects will start to happen until you'll get a new tome. This is to kind of keep in parity with the crafting recipe for the Starlight Forge that was added last update. So that will bring us to the second major update. Well, I guess the main feature of version 2.1 is item textures. And so you can see here we have a bunch of new item textures, however some have not changed, and that's because this is a server-side texture pack, which means that the clients still do not have to download anything themselves. Whenever they join your server, you can enable the texture pack, and it will cause all clients that connect to your server to be prompted to download the texture pack, which will retexture items only for the time being. There's some technical difficulties in terms of making blocks and armor get textured as well. So for now, it is just the items. Some benefits of this is that items will kind of show their internal state a bit visually, rather than just having some other text show up in your hotbar to tell you what's going on with the item. For example, our chest translocator here will show you if it's empty, if it has a chest inside, or if it has a barrel inside. We have some other items here that will change based on augments. For example, we have a Charm of Cinders that is normal, and a Charm of Cinders that has the cremation augment on it. They will also both show you when their auto smelting is on. See, the icon kind of changes to be a bit more on fire. You also have the telescoping beacon, which, while you do place it, is technically an item since you don't actually place it down in the world. And this will kind of empty itself out and fill itself back up when it has a beacon inside. It won't change the actual blocks that it has on the bottom based on what's in it, though, so it'll just always look like it is an iron beacon. We have the plane shifter here, which will show you whether it's in end teleport mode or nether teleport mode. We also have the Charm of Magnetism, which will show you whether it is in off, which is when it's not attracting things naturally, when it is on, when it is pulling things towards you naturally. And if you augment it with Polarity Reversal, you can reverse it, and the little gemstone will go red, and you can know when you're pushing items away. One of the better ones is the Stasis Pearl, where it'll show you when it is ready to be used, when the pearl is in flight, as well as when the pearl is frozen. And then when it's on cooldown, it'll gray out until it gets recharged. Last one I want to show off is the difference between the runic bow when it has acceleration runes on it. Previously, the only way to know when you were fully charged on the runic bow was the indicator at the bottom. However, now, the texture will highlight and match appropriately when you are fully charged. So a normal runic bow will charge slower than a runic bow with acceleration on it. We also have many minor changes that I'll kind of rapid fire through. The first one is that the plane shifter can now go from the nether to the end and vice versa. You still have to go through the overworld no matter which mode you're in. The Alchemical Arbalist has had some reworks for instant effects, such as instant damage and instant health. They will now not be as overpowered, and they'll tick less frequently, almost as if they were a overtime effect like regeneration or poison. The Shield of Fortitude had a major rework to Shield Bash, where it will now scale the damage amplification effect based on how many hearts it consumes, and it will also consume less hearts in the process. The Runic Quiver, let me get some arrows for this. So the Runic Quiver no longer removes all concentration. Now if we go into our tome here and look at our Runic Quiver, you see that the arrows inside are taking half concentration, and you can get an augment for it that will reduce that to 1/4. The Charm of Wild Growth has been upgraded to an exotic magic item, so it will take 5 concentration instead of 1. And the Null Memento has had some of its lore changed and is now a mythical item. So this means you cannot craft it anymore. The only way to get it is from the rare drop of a null construct, or you can increase that chance by making a null construct with a mythical catalyst instead, and fight an empowered construct for a 75% chance at the null memento instead of 5%. Another minor change is the Pickaxe of Septius now works on amethyst clusters, so it will apply its fortune and its vein mine. Additionally, dispensers will now work with magic items again, which means you can use them to dispense items out, as well as equip armor. Now I have the Sojourner's Boots on. Additionally, some of the altars have, well, all of the altars have had their multi-block structure expanded on a little bit. So we have the Star Path altar with these 4 kind of pylons in the back. The Stormcaller altar now has kind of mounds with lightning rods on them. And the Celestial altar has this kind of setup around it. Another change is we've added a lot of new augments just across the board, but one that I want to highlight is the Starpath altar now can save multiple locations if you apply the Star Charts augment to it. So if I go in here, as I click through, I can save locations and activate locations that I have previously saved. If I want to add a new location, I'm going to add in something like really far away. Before I click this to load into the altar, I can save it, and now this is a save location, and if I want to rename it, I can call this very far, save that, and now I can load that in, and if I want to go back, I can now see that it is saved in its coordinates and its name. Additionally, the other altars will save the state that they are in, so instead of having to change everything, so if I want to keep this in night mode and keep this at new moon, so now I can go walk away, do other things, come back, and it'll stay in night mode with new moon selected. This applies to the Stormcaller Ultra as well. And those are the last of the rapid-fire changes, which means we get into the new items of the update. So here we have the Aquatic Magmatic Eversources, the Totem of Vengeance, Runic Arrows of Tracking, and Runic Arrows of Ensnarement. We also have 2 more items over there that I'll get to in a bit. But to start off, we'll deal with the Aquatic and Magmatic Eversources. These are basically just infinite buckets of water and lava. They both have 2 modes, which is when they have their little arrows on the texture pointing outwards, which is when you can place fluids down, and then you can switch it into the evaporation mode, where the arrows will point in. You can pick up fluids. The Aquatic Eversource is an empowered item and has no cooldown, so you can place as much water as you want. However, the Magmatic Eversource does have a cooldown. So once you place some lava, it's going to go dark for a little bit, and you won't be able to place any more lava. However, you can still switch it into picking up, and you can use it to pick up fluids as well. You can use either to pick up any sorts of fluids. So if I put some water down, I can use the Magmatic Eversource to pick that up. Additionally, they have some augments. So the Aquatic Eversource has the Floodgate augment, which means you can switch into an extra mode where it will say the Eversource swells, and now you can place water in a 3x3. The Magmatic Eversource has two augments. One is a simple cooldown reduction called Eruption, and the other is Volcanic Chamber, which will let you store charges. So now I can put down multiple pieces of lava, and the charges will go down. Next up, we have the Totem of Vengeance. This is a fun one, because when it's a normal totem, however, instead of giving you a bunch of regeneration, health, and other effects like that, this will make you unkillable. And once you're unkillable, you'll also get some strength and speed. The gimmick with this totem is that in order to stay alive after the effect ends, you have to kill the thing that almost killed you. This means that your health will not be able to drop below 0 for the duration. You'll kind of stay at half a heart until the effect ends. If the thing that almost killed you is still alive when the effect ends, you will instantly die. It is unstoppable unless you have an extra Tome of Vengeance to kind of give it a second chance. So we're going to test this out with some husks here. Take off my boots so I can die extra easily. Take some damage from these skeletons. Assuming they don't shoot each other. The spawn of these as well. So as this guy is going to kill me, I'm going to hold the totem. So now I have strength and speed. And now, as he hits me, I will not drop below 0. He's just going to keep hitting me. He's not going to do anything. And if I kill him, when the effect ends, I will stay alive. However, let me get another one of those. I hold this in my offhand and get shot by the skeleton. And now if I hide behind this and don't kill the skeleton, we're going to wait this out. And it's going to tell me that I failed to get vengeance. Ignore the death message. You don't have the updated version of the texture pack installed, which will turn this into an actual death message. And so, you can also attempt to use this against something like environmental damage. So if I teleport myself high up, and then fall to my doom, it will activate. However, there's nothing for me to get vengeance on, so once this effect runs out, I am going to die no matter what. You cannot stop this with normal totems, and the only way to even attempt to get a second chance is to use a extra vengeance totem to basically extend your duration. The Vengeance Totem is comparatively a lot cheaper than other items because it is consumable. So if we look at its recipe here, it's basically just potions, and it will take a soul stone with 100 souls of any type, and it will give you back the soul stone. So if you have, a soul stone lying around that has like 10,000 mobs in it, it will just take out 100 and leave the rest. It also has an augment on it, I can view here, and this will increase the effect duration and the effect strength. So you'll get an extra level of speed and strength, and give you some extra time to try and kill whatever killed you. Next up, we have the Tracking and Ensnarement Arrows. The Ensnarement Arrows will just simply stop mobs from moving. So if I have this zombie here and he wants to come at me, I'll hit him with an Ensnarement Arrow, and he'll get kind of wrapped up in these chains, and he's not moving. If I do it again, I can still punch him, and so he'll take knockback, and he can fall. This guy's almost dead, so I'll kill this guy. Spawn a new one. So even though he's ensnared, he'll still be affected by gravity and things like that, but he cannot move of his own AI. This effect also works on players, so if I shoot this up at myself, I cannot move, although as you saw there, the effect duration is greatly reduced. You can augment this to extend the effect duration, so you can do that. Augment, apply. So that is the entrapment effect. If I apply this at level 5, which is the maximum level, I'm also going to apply the other effect, or augment, which is Ethereal Anchor. This only has an effect on players. So now if I give myself an Ender Pearl, what this does is it makes it so I cannot teleport. Oh, that is the wrong arrow. If I shoot myself, I'm ensnared, and now I cannot teleport. It'll still do the damage of the Ender Pearl or any other effect that happens, but it will not move me from one location to the other. Next up, we have the Tracking Arrows. These arrows are legendary, and they will make the arrow kind of course correct itself as you're shooting something. So right here, if I shoot kind of almost at the zombie, it will course correct itself and go straight for the zombie. So if I aim over here, it's going to kind of make a beeline. The effect is not like super strong, so if I am aiming over here, it's not going to course correct itself, and you can see kind of at the point where it will do that. You can make it have a wider vision cone with an augment. If I go to view those, we have Runic Guidance, which will increase the tracking angle. Then you also have Broadheads, which will apply the damage vulnerability effect at 50% extra damage for the stated duration. So if I augment apply, if I give this Runic Guidance 3, we can kind of show off the new radius. If I'm aiming over here, you can see the point at which it now locks on is a lot wider. So those are the main items of the update, or the main kind of simple items. So we're going to move on to the Transmutation Altar. The Transmutation Altar allows you to change items between kind of equivalent forms, as well as do some infusions to kind of imbue items with new properties. So we're going to start off by grabbing this first recipe here. So when you create the Transmutation Altar and you open it up, you're going to see you have a kind of recipe book in the center, which we can click to view the list of every transmutation you can perform. There are 3 varieties of transmutation. The first one you're going to see here, these are all commutative transmutations. Every transmutation will take a certain number of reagents. However, the commutative transmutations, if you click to view one of these, so we're going to be doing one of the log transmutations to show off here. So this will show you all the items that you can shift between, which means you can input any of these items and output any of these items. And so the way you're going to do a commutative transmutation is, say you live in a savanna. All you have are these super ugly acacia logs. And you want to turn them into the best wood type, spruce logs. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a spruce log, and you're going to put that onto our blackstone block here. This will serve as the focus of the transmutation. You're going to put your acacia logs on the quartz block here, because those are the items that we're going to turn into spruce logs. You're going to take your reagents and put them on either of the amethyst pedestals here. The order does not matter as long as you follow the recipe. And so in this recipe here, you're going to see that it's going to take 12 copper ingots and 6 emeralds. And so this will pay for an entire stack worth of transmutation. It doesn't matter if we put only 1 here or we put a whole stack, the cost will be static. It will take exactly that many reagents. You can only do up to one stack at a time, so if you want to add a second stack there, you would have to perform a second transmutation. If we don't have the proper items here, so if we take those and try to start the altar, it's going to tell you that it couldn't find anything. It won't put on cooldown, though, so you can fix your issue and come back. Starting the altar, send out this cool little animation. And so, it's going to take about 25 seconds to perform the transmutation, where the reagents will be consumed in their proper amounts, and the items you're looking to transmute will turn into the spruce logs that we want. Now we can build a nice and pretty house instead. The second type of transmutation are infusions. So if we're going to go into our recipe book here, and the infusion that I want to perform is coal into diamonds. As you can see here, the input is 12 coal, and the output is 1 diamond, with a reagent of 16 redstone and 16 gunpowder. So since we have a stack of coal here, and it takes 12 coal for 1 diamond, that means we're going to get 5 diamonds out with 4 coal left over. We're going to put our coal onto our positive input spot there on the quartz, reagents on either. And if you perform transmutation, it's going to start it up. And right now I have the cooldown on the altar disabled for demonstration purposes. But normally, after each transmutation, you would have to wait the full cooldown before being able to transmute again. So now, we have 5 diamonds here, and 4 coal left. And it took exactly 16 redstone dust and gunpowder. So those are the 2 main types of transmutation. However, if you infuse your way up to an Aequalis Scientia, which you can get through making mythical catalysts and then using a mythical catalyst and some amethysts and diamonds, you'll get an Aequalis Scientia, which is a mythical magical item. So there are 2 types of Aequalis transmutations that you can do, which are the last 2 in the list. The first one is you can use it to transfer your skill points. So if I go into my tome here, and I look at my skill point allocations, I have nothing unlocked for the Shadowstalker's Glaive, and I have a bunch of things unlocked for the Runic Bow. This means that if I want to transfer some skill points from my Runic Bow augments to my Shadowstalker Glaive augments, I can perform this type of transmutation, where I put my bow onto the pedestal there. I put the item that I want to put my skill points into on the Blackstone. And I use a stack of Nebulous Essence and Stardust, and place my Aequalis on the center here. One thing that I want to note is that this doesn't transfer the augments that are on the actual item. It just transfers the skill points that you have allocated. So if we perform this, it's going to deallocate as many skill points from the Runic Bow as it can, and put them into as many skills on the Shadowstalker's Glaive as it can. This will consume both of the stacks of reagents, all of them, and leave the items behind. However, it will consume the Aequalis. However, the Aequalis can be augmented with some mystical catalysts to give it a chance to not be consumed during these types of transmutations. So now, if we check out our Runic Bow, we see that all of the skill points have been deallocated, and they've all been put into random augments on the Shadowstalker's Glaive. The last type of Aequalis transmutation is one that you can do if you augment your Aequalis with the equivalent exchange augment. This will let you remove augments from your runic bow, or whatever item you choose, and put them back into catalyst form. And so you can use catalytic matrices to put the catalyst back. Catalytic matrices come in groups of 4, which means you can only take off up to 4 at a time. You could take off 1 or 2 if you only put down 1 or 2. So we're going to do this. Make sure that everything on the proper spots. And so it will pick 4 catalysts from the bow to remove and place into the catalytic matrices. This will only work on augments that you have applied catalyst to. If you got augments from the skill augment on your forge when you crafted the item, it will not take those off. So you cannot create catalyst out of nothing. And as you can see here, our matrices were transformed into their proper catalysts. Now, if we look at our bow, you can see that it took off 4 different augments. So that is the final type of transmutation that you can perform. And that is all for this current update. We have a lot more planned in the future, so always stay tuned and keep an eye out. If there are any bugs that come up, report them in the Discord or on the GitHub bug tracker. And that's it. Thanks for watching.